speaking of Holiday Express, I do want to tell people that we will be appearing at the NJ Pack. It costs over $1 million a year to do what we do, and that's mostly because of my $700,000 salary, and the other $300,000 to do the shows. But now we're all volunteer. But on December 11th, we'll be at the NJ Pack in Newark with Benny King. He's going to do the show with us, and he's going to be performing Stand By Me with Holiday Express. And it's interesting because Benny was the last act in this room before Sandy. We talked about this before. He was here the Saturday night before. And we're going to bring him back, and we were afraid to bring him back because there's, it's just bad vibe, bad karma. But he'll be here on December 29th, so watch your weather report somewhere around December 26th, right after Christmas. But also, Holiday Express will be at the Count Basie Theater right down here at the shore. And see, once again, proving I'm not from around here. I said down the shore. I'm a North Jersey guy. Anyway, we'll be at the Count Basie Theater in Red Bank on December 19th with Joe Piscopo will be our guest host that evening for the Holiday Express. You're smirking at me. Stop it now.
He's a friend of the show.
He is
a friend of the show.
And the last thing I wanted to mention was also in this room, one of my favorites of all time, Bobby Rydell is going to be here on Friday, November 29th, the night after Thanksgiving. Should be great. But speaking of one of the greats of all time, and you have no right looking as good as you look, and I'm just saying right now, Gloria Gaynor, everybody. See, it's a good thing it's a radio show when it comes to looking at me. When it comes to looking at you, I'm thinking this should be television. Thanks so much for being here. I'm just thinking this is just another career misstep for you. We're ready to do this show. I don't know. Why do I keep making these mistakes? I should know better than that. I'm sure you heard our interview with Felipe Rose from the Village People. Isn't it great, And I feel the same way about you. I always wonder for people like yourself, well, really, if you're a road warrior, you've done this all these years, and you just keep, marching on. How did it start for you? What was going on in your house when you were a little girl?
What was going on in my house was lots and lots of music.
Yeah. And where was this, by the way?
This was in Newark.
Okay.
And
there you go.
My brothers all sang, and two of them were older than me. And so therefore, no one was listening to me. They had a little quartet going on.
I have the same thing going on in my house right now. I've got an 8th grader who's being tortured by these boys.
I could not be involved because I was a girl.
Yeah.
But
how'd that turn out?
So, I just sang to myself, and I took it, helped a friend. I was working, I was on vacation, and my friend called me and said, I have trouble with my babysitter, can you come and babysit for me? And I said, well, you've got 2 weeks to find somebody new, because I'm on vacation with my job, not going anywhere, I'll do it for you for 2 weeks. Well, the first day that I worked for her, I began to hear somebody walking in the apartment above. At that point in my life, I just wanted to be heard.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the accolades or anything. I just wanted to be heard. And this person would start walking. When I would follow the footsteps. When the footsteps would stop, I would stop and sing. Knowing that if I could hear them walking, they would hear me singing. A couple of weeks later, I stopped into a nightclub with my brother, and someone goes up on the stage and says, ladies and gentlemen, there's a young lady in the audience. She's got a great voice. I only know her first name. Her first name's Gloria. And we give her a good round of applause, maybe we can get her to do a number. And they're looking right at me.
Really?
Yeah. This is an opportunity that I have been praying for, and wasn't about to give it up, and my brother wasn't about to let me give it up. So I went up onto the stage, and they asked me, what did I want to sing? And I remember they played a song that I knew while I was singing there, so I told them, Save It Love For Me by Nancy Wilson.
Oh, wow.
So I sang that song, I standing ovation, go back to my seat, and they come over and say that they were having trouble with their singer. She was very unreliable. She hadn't even shown up that night. And when the club owner saw me come in, he told them about me because he was the one who belonged to the Footsteps.
Oh, really?
Upstairs, and he heard my girlfriend call my name as I left the building one day. That's how we got my first name. And they said, we need you to come and work with us. I said, sure, we get together. We rehearsed for a couple of months, and they said, no, we need you to start tomorrow night. But, my mother always believed and taught us, you know, like the Boy Scouts.
Be prepared, right?
Be prepared. So I had nice clothes, and I had taken my autograph album from grammar school, and every time I learned a song, I wrote it down in that book, and I had a list of over 250 songs.
Wow, and you had your keys too, right?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you did? You are such a cliche. Come on.
I came, so I came to them with the book. I said, find your keys to whichever songs, and as many songs as you want, because I know them all, and you got a repertoire.
So if you don't know what I'm referring to, the cliche is just that the female vocalists never know their key.
Right.
It's just, go, here's the song, I got it all here, but I have no idea where I do it. And then it becomes something like, well, I want to know, I want to know. And we're all guessing like crazy, you know. So how did you make the decision, though, to be full-time? Was it a moment where you just had to say, you know, I can't worry about the money, I don't know if I'm going to make enough, but I'm going to do this thing?
That decision was made long before that.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was what I wanted to do.
Wow.
That was why I was here.
So where'd you go to high school?
In New York.
No, which one?
Southside.
You did? See,
Awesome.
not Shabazz it is now. Right, but Southside, Ronnie Cornegay was the big basketball star at Southside when But we used to, I went to Seton Hall Prep, and we would play Southside every year, and you'd whip the heck out of us. But it was worth it. But it was a great place, you know. I wasn't growing up in New York. Because it was tumultuous times, though, also.
But it was, well, early on, you know, until I graduated from high school, it was great. It was a wonderful place to live and grow up, because in the summertime, every night was a party on the corners, with people coming with different instruments and playing and singing and performing together, and just had a great time. And when I grew up and found out that the world wasn't like that, I felt very sad for them.
Yeah, no, I understand. Maybe I don't understand, but I hear what you're saying. You know, I didn't live it, so I can't understand. So now hearing you tell the story that way, I have to wonder how I Will Survive and the whole disco thing felt to you as it came to you. Because here you were, I'm thinking a pretty serious student of music, and
I was a serious singer. I started out singing jazz and pop music. Nat King Cole and Gloria Lynn and Ella Fitzgerald and Cleo Lane and Nancy Wilson, and that's the music.
All those wannabes.
That's the music that I grew up singing. So when they had Melvin and Mervyn, still writing this song for me, Honeybee. Well, I was glad for the opportunity to do my very first recording, but I didn't think that I was going to always be doing disco music. And since I did it right, of course, and I still do. So I said, but that's what they want to record, that's fine, I'll sing what I want to do at shows, and I always
I asked Felipe about this with the Village people, in the sense of embracing a certain type of music that maybe you really didn't ask for that to be your career, but it became. Because we played with Darlene Love every once in a while, and Benny King for that matter. Benny, doing Stand By Me. Benny had an advantage though in that he wrote that, so it was a financial boom for him. Where so many of you, like Darlene, didn't write that material, so all this money's being made, but it's just zipping right out the door. And she would tell stories about how she would make a pretty good buck to record that stuff, so she wasn't complaining at the time. She was talking about the early '60s getting a check for like $3,500 to do a recording, but then it's goodbye, Darlene. And by the way, we're not going to use your name. Fortunately for you, you were identified with it. This was you, But was there a time when you had to, and I apologize, I'm sure you answer this question all the time, but was there a time when I Will Survive was just, oh please, do I have to do it for the rest of my life, or were you always okay with it?
I was always wonderful with it.
Right.
There's never, it's still my favorite song.
Just that your
I become 295.5% grade A. And I just love performing because for a couple of reasons. Number one, I know that if nothing else in the show satisfies the audience, that will. Number two, I'm very happy to be able to give my audience something that will last them beyond the duration of the concert.
Yeah, but there's also more to it than that, though, because you've lent your voice and your name to charitable causes. because that song went way beyond. I think, you know, it was a nice disco hit, and everybody loved it, and you danced to it and all that stuff, but it's become much, much more than that now. I've been involved in the world of marathoning for more years than I ought to be, and my daily mantra now is I can't believe I was ever any good at running, but the number of times that's been played at that, but now, and marathon running, as you know, has really become inextricably, shouldn't have tried to use that one, tied together with charities.
Yeah.
And I Will Survive speaks to so many people. You know, Susan G. Komen, I know that you're involved with that. And
I mean, proof that that song speaks to so many different people in so many different ways about so many different subjects is the book that I just did.
we were about to get to that.
Were you?
Yes. You have a book, Gloria? I didn't know that.
Yes.
And it's called We Will Survive.
We will survive because we are.
So tell the audience what
Well,
that's
it's a compilation of 40 stories from real life people, real life stories of how the song I Will Survive has encouraged, uplifted, and empowered them
really.
to make it through difficult and sometimes traumatic situations in their lives.
And did they submit these to you?
They submitted them in writing, or we talked on the phone, or I sat with them and took them down, and the stories are across so many different subjects, and you know, from so many different age groups, races, creeds, and colors.
That must have happened to you a lot, actually, when you consider that song. People come up to you and tell you that.
Yeah, well, that's why I decided to do the book, because when people have told me these stories, they've been uplifting and encouraging to me.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, how encouraging will it be for a person to pick up a book and read about someone going through a situation that they're struggling through at the moment, but read that this person has already come out the other side victorious.
Yeah.
How encouraging can that be? So that's the reason.
So how can our listeners in the studio, how can they get copies of these books? Is it out yet? It's coming out, right?
It's coming out, but it's available on Kindle right now.
Okay.
It's available on the audiobook right now. And December 1st, the written book will be available.
December
on
1.
Amazon.com. December 1st.
I think it sounds fascinating.
There's an inspirational CD by the same title. And these are songs that I chose to because they complement the stories in the book.
You know, I'm curious. Are you going to do the spoken word? You know, the books on tape? I don't know. It's not on tape anymore. You do have the audiobook with those stories? Really? Did you do it? Is it your voice? Oh, you have a lovely voice. So how actually do you keep your voice in shape? That you can still do those amazing concerts?
Well, I do take care of my voice. I don't do any alcohol, drugs, or things like that. I don't smoke. And I try not to talk too much.
This is why my voice is shot.
Especially before a show. No, it's awful. I once had laryngitis, and I said to my doctor, "What's the best thing for me to do for this?" He said, "Shut up."
You went to medical school for that. That's not a training. I was actually speaking, I'm going to drop a name, but I was speaking with John Bon Jovi a couple of weeks ago about that topic and relating it to running, actually, because if you get a muscular injury, the last thing you're going to do is put heat on it. And yet all of us who sing, I used to gargle with the most boiling hot salt water I could to just sort of like try to clear it out, to try and beat it back. It was insane. And then one time I had no voice at all. There are many people who said that for many years, I had no voice at all, but in this particular case I couldn't have any output. And I stopped by a 7-Eleven, accidentally got a Slurpee, and an hour later I get out of my car and my voice is all the way back. Because I'd frozen my vocal cords in a good sense, I'd reduced the inflammation. So now I always use cold. This is the kind of stuff you get from me when you're a guest on the show. And I come in a year from now, I hear that Gloria Gaynor totally lost her voice because she got a Slurpee. And some idiot who has a radio show told me this. Well, Gloria, I think it's absolutely magical that we have you here today. Thank you so much. People buying the book, You Will Survive, and we have lovely party gifts.
That's available December 1st on Amazon.com. You Will Survive.
Gloria Gaynor, ladies and gentlemen.